Hey guys, my name is Nee, and I just turned 21 this past Monday. Um, so to start off, I am Asian American, specifically Vietnamese, and so today I want to talk to you about how you are not what you do. And to start off, since I am from an Asian American background, my family is very, I guess you can say, uh, hardcore into their culture. Therefore, it was ingrained in me that you are what you do. So my grades counted, how I dressed counted, how I talked, the way I carried myself, my image, it all counts. Even my skin color. Since a lot of Vietnamese tend to be more light skinned, I am considered very dark for someone who's Vietnamese. And so some of my aunts would be like, hey, you should put on this like lotion that will make your skin lighter. And to me, as a young child, I was like, why am I not good enough? Like, why do I have to make my skin lighter? Like, is that prettier? Like, do I have to be light skinned to be pretty? And it was just a confusing time because when you're a kid, you just want to have fun and you're creating new relationships with friends at school. And with that pressure of you gotta dress like this, you gotta look this way, you gotta be skinny, it takes a toll, especially on someone who's like 7, 8 years old and being told you need to be lighter, you're too dark, and that really played a big part in how I saw myself and my confidence level and my self worth. And so, like someone can compliment me and my confidence level will go really high, but then that temporary happiness can be shattered with another comment of, oh, your work wasn't good enough. Oh, your clothes are kind of weird. Or sometimes I can feel very insecure when a beautiful woman will walk in and I would just be like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty. Like, I can't match up to her. And so it wasn't just what I did, but also appearance as well. Something that I can't really control besides keeping my healthy body and like eating right and stuff like that. But for the most part, it was very, it was physical, mental, and spiritual health of like, I'm not good enough, therefore I have to strive to be good enough and seek for people's opinion. And that really is exhausting because every single time I would interact with someone, it's just like, oh my gosh, I have to put on a show for them. I can't really be myself anymore. And I'm just drained throughout the day. And it's just like, why do I have to do that to satisfy someone who I won't even see in the next couple of years? And when I was 15, though, I started getting into my faith a little bit more, but it was still a little shaken because I didn't really understand it. Therefore, at church, when people would say, like, oh, it's not what you do that makes you you, it's because God calls you his daughter, therefore you are his daughter. And to me, I didn't grasp that concept because I grew up being or believing that no, it's what you do that makes you who you are. And therefore, it was very foreign to me. And so, with my faith being a little shaken, I I didn't really care um, about how people would boost my confidence by saying it's not what you do, and it was like one going through one ear and out the other. And but luckily though, I interacted with mentors who've helped me process through what that means, and it took about like 6 years for me to actually understand and believe that it's not what you do that makes you a daughter of God. It's because he calls you that, therefore you are that, and because of that belief and that trust in him, you live it out. And being 21 now, I'm still learning, but through that process of being 15 to 21, I did see my ups and downs for sure. I did understand now why it's important to have confidence in yourself, not just by your own works, but because God is with you. And therefore, as a finite creature, as a finite human being, to be able to be watched over and looked over by someone who's infinite and pretty much incomprehensible to humankind, that's very, I find that very appreciative and very humbling because I don't have to do it on my own. And with the people around me, not even just mentors, but friends who would lift me up, and also, yeah, friends who would lift me up, I feel like I am surrounded by a community that actually loves me for me and not because I show them a different side of me. So living the double life is like was tiring, but now that I get to stray away from that and actually live one life, it's a lot more, I guess you can say, I feel like I love life a lot more. My advice to those of you who feel like you're not good enough because your parents says you're not, or you feel like because your grades aren't at the expectation certain people have set or you have set that you failed, or you feel like you're not pretty enough or smart enough or any of those things, I just want to tell you to breathe, because you are only human. Therefore, give yourself some grace. You are a finite person for the first and foremost, and the fact that you have an infinite God should make you feel more relaxed, and it's okay to take one step at a time and not get everything done right away, even though that's your plan. So my advice to you all is, one, check your heart. And what I mean by that is check what motivates you. So let's say you want to have the best grades. Why do you want to have the best grades? Is it just because you want to for yourself, which is great? Or is it to prove to people that, like, I'm hecka smart, like, watch out? So that's one. Check your heart and where your motivating factor is. Two is to, when you have expectations, which are great and not bad at all, know that you need to give yourself some grace and boundaries when those things that you set it for don't happen. Because we as humans fail all the time. And if you expect yourself to be perfect in everything and achieve all these great things, yet don't see that you can fail, then you'll never really succeed, because now you're just in this loophole of, well, I didn't make it, therefore I suck. Like, no, that's not the point. The point is to have those expectations, and if you don't meet it, know that it's okay. Like, your life is not over. And with those boundaries, well, like I said, it's okay when you fail, and I feel like we should be okay with that. So that's my second advice. And then my third advice is to understand that when you put your happiness into those external forces, let's say your grades, friendships, and shopping, let's say people love shopping, food, working out constantly, or anything of those sorts, you're, at the end of the day, like I said before, you're gonna feel empty. And it's not gonna fill you up, because your inner self, your inner peace, you don't have it because you didn't strive to build that relationship with God, or you didn't give yourself time to do so. And that really affects how you approach other people and how you see yourself as well. So what I'm trying to say is, things changes all the time, and all those external forces, let's say grades, like you can get an A on this test, but the next one you fail, like those things changes, and that's a part of life. But with God, He's very constant, very still. And when you're with God and you work on this relationship with God, it gives you this inner peace that really no one can explain but you. And therefore, when God is constant in your life and you strive to have Him in your life, and for Him to take the driver's seat and you sit in the passenger seat, it makes a big difference, because now you see yourself not as, I'm doing this on my own, but I actually have a God who can help me. And with the people that He surrounded me with, I can strive to be the best that I can every day. And not because it's for other people's approval, but because I want to live the best life that God has given me. And therefore my motive, hopefully every single day, is to do it out of the grace that God has given me. And with that truth and that understanding, I have definitely woken up with a lot more joy and with a lot more peace, because I know I'm not alone, and it's not what I do that makes me who I am, but because God calls me His daughter, He calls me worthy, He calls me holy, therefore I am that. and I get to live that out by believing in him and trusting in him. Thank you.